Hello and welcome to the Halo Forge epidemic. This is Oakley HiDef, and I'm here to bring you an aesthetic slash inspirational video. The reason I'm bringing this is just to show you guys how to make a new setting for your different maps. Hopefully it'll inspire you guys to build your own maps, and I'll give you some ideas on which you can build off of. So this is supposed to be a beach resort, and it can pretty much hold any type of game. It'd be cool to see some Slayer games on this, maybe even an invasion game on a beach resort. That could be interesting. Then you could also make this into an infection type of game. Make it like, I think it's called Dead Island or whatever game they're coming out with. Something like that. Then you could also make this a racing map, which would be nice because all the ones I've played on are generally up in the sky. I mean, they're fun, but they get bland, and it'd be nice to have some backdrop. So if someone wants to use the various objects I have here to make a racing map, that would be great, and hopefully that would look really nice. And I'll show you how to make this map, all the various pieces. So the first thing you want to do is create these large hotel buildings, and they're easy to make. You just use 8 wall coliseums, put them around and stack them up. Make sure though when you build them you want pieces sticking out like this, because it gives it a nice color on the outside like that. Changes up from the gray. It makes it look like there's some brace or support or structure to this building. So it looks good. Besides that, you don't really need to decorate it too much. I find that if you try and decorate these, it might detract from your map. If you want to and it looks good, go ahead. But what I experienced was it kind of detracted from the map. And also another thing is generally these beach resorts, the big hotels are pretty bland, so you might as well just go with that. And the detail is going to be on the ground anyways. But another note, when you're making these buildings, always make it look semi-realistic. You want at least one door, and then that's good enough. So use whatever you want for the door. Here I've just used part of this large object here to make a gray door with sort of blue rims. Then I have a walkway cover here and railings to add sort of as a cover, an entrance to this. And then over here I've added a couple tin cups submerged in the ground for flags. Maybe at this beach resort you can practice golf or whatever. Then I've added a mongoose, which you can use to kind of go around the island and stuff like that. And over here I've made a little beach. Now the main resort is up over there, but I didn't want to leave the map empty, so what I added was a small picnic area. In previous videos I've showed you how to make these benches, and I'll show you how to make these umbrellas once more later. So I've made this little area here you can get to with the mongooses. It's supposed to be just a nice secluded beach. A couple of these, and then here I made a fire. Fires are easy to make. You just pile up some sandbags like this, then you put a red light in the center. It looks nice. It gives a good sort of secluded feel to this area here. So again, this could be good for racing. You come through here, you race around the island, or also infection. Now, last week was actually Shark Week, so in honor of that I added some shark fins in the water. And I guess you could make that into your infection game where the shark or the infector are supposedly sharks or something, and you could add a some sort of low wall just under the water, so you have the zombies running around attacking people on the beach. That could be pretty cool. So back to the details. What I've done here is I've added a pool. I've used the little the water that appears in Forge World on the beach here. I've captured that and I've used it to make a larger pool, and then 2 hot tubs that you see here. So again, I used just part of a larger piece. Here you go. It's a corner 4x4, and I use this because I like the color. The lines you have, it kind of looks like it's tile, which works well for the pool theme. Then I put it just like this, so you have the edges crossing each other, and that looks like it's braced and built into the ground. Now another thing I did was a small tiny detail. I tried using rocks and sand bags to make a sort of a sand castle, and then an antenna and a capture plate to make a shovel. It looks pretty terrible, but it kind of gives the impression that there's something more here. Go ahead and build your own. I'm sure you can beat this, but it's just something to build off of and give you guys an idea. Another thing I did to add believability is around these pools I added a sort of stone rock walkway over there. And the reason behind that is just to add some realism. If you're wet, you don't want to be walking through the sand, and you probably would use this walkway. Now, another thing you should use, definitely use in your beach, are these inclined seats. So all you do is you have an antenna, a satellite, stick it into the ground, so you have that one part sticking out, bury it, then you have a column here, and then you want to make a large series of them to make a bunch of lawn chairs, and then over there you want to couple them with some umbrellas. And you can do that for the whole beach. It's really not that expensive, especially if you're making a map just of this size. You can fill the whole beach with those. It would make some nice cover for the infected if you're making that kind of game, cover in general, and also if you're making a race map, it makes a nice wall without it really being a wall, so you can drive through here between various objects. That's nice. Another thing you should do is definitely add some docks on your beach map. Easy, use these braces, then add columns at the end to make some sort of posts, apparently holding it up. Then at the end, what you can do is add some small boats, and if it's an infection map, then the boats would serve as a sort of a hideout point for humans. That's interesting. Add more detail to your map. Go ahead and add boats. Go ahead and add whatever else you think might make it interesting. Again, this map is just to serve as a starting point for whatever creation you may want to have. So along your beachfront, you don't want to make it too bland. Go ahead and add some, as well as these big buildings, add some smaller buildings. Here I made a simple one. Coliseum walls has the floor, some benches on the outside, a ramp to get in. Then I use these bridge pieces for the walls, just because I like the color and the railing pieces you get at the top along with them, so it makes the building a little more interesting. Then I went ahead and added this cover glass to make a window. Then on the inside I have a shield door. It's nice, it detracts from the gray color you have everywhere else. It looks nice, it catches the eye, and if you want to, you can make this into some sort of TV, write something on it using blocks, etc. Just some ideas if you're going to make a map like this. Go ahead and make a ton of small buildings like this. If it's an infection map, maybe you make one like a bar, maybe make one just a place to hang out, the reception office. So make a lot of these small buildings to make your map more interesting. Also, I joined these two buildings with a small sort of, I guess, entrance to the two big buildings here. Wall Coliseum here, and then on the top I use another one. Then to change up the color scheme, I had brace larges here. Then again, I use inclines to change up the color scheme and sort of the objects you're seeing. You don't want just straight-faced objects. Go ahead and add inclines or rounded objects every once in a while, so that's what I did. Then I used part of a building. This is a building, a tower, 3-story here. Just part of it I used to change up, once again, the color scheme and the sort of blocks that you're seeing. And then I made it look like there's an entrance by once again adding this walkway cover with railing supporting it. So that's what you want to do if you're going to make a game. Not only infection, make a bunch of these, but also some of these, just to help line your beachfront, make it look like there's a lot more to it. So if you're going to make these umbrellas, what you want to do is throw down first an antenna. Then what you want to do is you want to have these two bank 1x1s. And the way you want to make them so that they're perfect sort of star shapes is you put them down, you put them on normal, you bring them together like this, and then that way they're perfectly turned. And then you see, you just slide it over like that and you have the perfect star. Then what you do is you pick both of those up and you stick them right on top to make your umbrella. So go ahead and make a ton of those on the beach, again, to make a wall for your race maps or just cover, etc. So you can line the whole beach with those, and don't forget to add these reclining lawn chairs. Moving along, feel free to add more and more details. Here I've added a small soccer field, just using these ramps as the goals, cones to mark the outside of the game, and then I went ahead and I added a soccer ball just to add more flavor to your beach, make it more interesting once again. Then another thing you can do with your cones is flip them upside down and put them right where the water gets deep, sort of mark where the swimming area is, and I guess show where the edge is more importantly. This is good because players might fall off the edge, especially if you're making a race map. Say players can go up through there, then if they're going through the water they know not to go too far, otherwise they'll fall off. So that's important for all types of games. People get frustrated when they fall off into the water. It's a little hard to tell, so go ahead and use these cones or other objects to sort of demarcate where the deep zone is. Now over here, one more building, and then I've attached this to this nice patio here, and then once again I've used the water that was overflowing onto this sort of beachfront. I've added this nice what's it called, dish, bringing it around to make a cool pool. Then around it I've added these block 2x1s to make maybe some sort of eating area. I've added umbrellas and some stools. So this makes a nice area. It looks great. It's different from the pools you have over there. It's bigger. What you could do is add a bunch of lawn chairs here, maybe make a building over here which is like a bar. So you can do a lot of stuff with this. Although also another interesting thing to note is I've made more docks here, and as I said before, you can add some small boats on the inside just to do like boat tours or whatever, jet skis or what have you. Another thing you can do is actually, since the water is deeper here, is make a big cruise ship. So I guess cruises would come here, get off, and go on the beach, and that'll add another sort of detail onto your map. Say it's an infection map, add a big cruise ship, so that way you get the whole theme of the map tied together. Maybe the infection came with those on the boat, so what you can do is have a big cruise ship here, maybe another one docked over there, and that's where you can have the infected spawn. They jump off of those onto the docks and then they rush the humans on the beach. Another thing, as I said before, you could do is maybe not have sort of land humans. You could have, what I meant to say was you don't have normal land zombies. You could have, I guess, imply that they're shark zombies. What you have is you make a low wall, maybe a grid underwater. You have the zombies spawn over here as the sharks. Then what you do is you have them rush out onto the beach just barely underwater and charge the humans who are over there. So that's a pair of different infection maps you can make. I'd love to see that. That would be actually pretty fun. So once again, make cruise ships, what have you, just to make the map more interesting. Go ahead and use all parts of the map. Maybe what you want to do to add even more to this is over here, you make a small airport for the resort. Go ahead and add a big landing strip. Then what you can do is, if this is an invasion map, you have first the attackers, I guess, land on these landing strips, take those out, then you sort of try and bomb these various buildings and capture all the different areas. So there's a lot you can do with this kind of setting, and it hasn't been done very often, so go ahead and use this for your map. It'll make it more interesting. And then again, as I've said multiple times, go ahead, make a race map out of this. It's nice, you have these dirt tracks running through your map already, so that makes it, it saves you a lot on having to painstakingly put up all those different blocks, make them the correct height, angle, etc. to make nice curves. Here you can just go ahead and use the terrain. It's a lot more fun, I find, than the blocks people make, these sky racetracks. So go ahead and just use the terrain. It's much more fun, much more interesting and colorful. So you can have your race go along through here, use the land bridges, and then you just go ahead and go through your whole map, show it off, and it's fun, it's interesting. You can go through the soccer court, you can go along the beach, etc. Then, as you can see, like I was saying before, these umbrellas make a natural sort of low wall. So you go through here, then you go back through here, and there you go. You have one lap. It's simple, it's easy, there's a lot of room to pass your buddies, take advantage of the low water, etc. So this serves all sorts of purposes, so go ahead and use the ideas I've shown here to make your own maps. So that's about it. That's another inspirational how to forge a map tutorial. We'll be bringing you a lot more of these, bringing you guys more and more ideas to build your own maps. So that's it for this episode. Go ahead and subscribe. Just so you get an update for whenever we have more and more of these. We'll continue to produce them, and I hope you guys continue to enjoy this channel. If you want me to make any additional maps, go ahead and post in the comments. what you want to see or on Darth's channel, and also check out his blog. You can get a link from his YouTube page. We'll be adding polls there to see what people like, etc. Add your feedback. So that's it. This is Oakley HiDef. Sorry, this is Oakley HiDef signing out. Thank you guys.